We hit that 20 past mark and go straight into our moment in current affairs. Looking at our current affairs, of course, as one of the pillars of Keith and Ngesi Radio, alongside spirituality, motivation, and entertainment. 23 minutes now after 9 a.m. and time for us to look into those current affairs from which or of which we speak. A suspect has been arrested after he was caught red-handed with stolen equipment outside Anglo Gold Ashanti Hospital in Carletonville, Gauteng. The suspect was caught by security personnel outside the decommissioned hospital. According to Gauteng health spokesperson Kwara Kenana, the suspect is currently in police custody and the search for two other accomplices is underway. Kekana said a case has been opened at the Carletonville police station. The incident of theft happened at the time when the Gauteng Department of Health had commenced the process to move equipment and machinery out of the facility. The department reportedly vacated the facility at the 31st of March following its decommissioning. Staff had already redeployed to other facilities. One suspect was caught red-handed while loading a bakkie with stolen property outside of the hospital premises, while on the other two fled. The culprits are reported to have forcibly gained entry to the hospital, where they stole copper cables, gas stoves, monitors, mattresses, and vandalized two state-of-the-art digital X-ray machines. Kekana said Gauteng's health assets management team is on site undertaking an inventory, both movable and unmovable assets, to ascertain the extent of the damage and theft to allow for remaining equipment to be relocated as planned. In February 2022, the Gauteng Provincial Department placed 9 senior officials in the Department of Health and the Department of the Infrastructure Development on precautionary suspension. This followed the recommendation of the Special Investigations Unit. The SIU uncovered serious irregularities in the awarding of contractors for the refurbishment of the Anglo Gold Ashanti Hospital on the West Rand. A pizza delivery guy is bizarrely suing 16 of his friends after they won the lotto and refused to share their winnings with him. According to reports, the group won almost 16 million rand and split it amongst themselves, but refused to give him a share because he did not contribute to the buying of the winning ticket. Philip Tsotos of Ontario, Canada, is singing his friends for not sharing their lottery winnings and with him. According to reports, 16 of Philip's friends bought a ticket together and won 15.6 million, but did not share any of it with him because he didn't help them buy the ticket. Reports now say that Phillips is now demanding $70,000, which is 1 million rand share of the money from his friends who have stolen his dreams from him. The publication also reported that the group of 16 won the Maximilian Prize after purchasing a lotto ticket from the Ontario Lottery Gambling Commission or Corporation. When they started flexing their newfound wealth on social media without telling their 17th friend, who especially angry about the fact that they didn't even tell him, why wouldn't they tell me they won? These guys are like family to me. Their dreams came true. Why shouldn't they steal mine? Meanwhile, his friends have since found themselves legal representation and have argued that he is in no way entitled to money because the fact that he didn't buy the ticket. Will be vigorously defending the claim. In this instance, he did not play and he was not included. Tsotsos and his friends reportedly played lotto regularly and each contributed to buying tickets. Unfortunately for him, he couldn't afford to contribute when the ticket was purchased and in fact owed them money from the last ticket. Ouch. Ouch. It happens, man. It happens. Askis boy, 27 after 9. For those who were in bed early on Wednesday night, you might likely have missed the health department confirming a new set of limited regulations for managing COVID-19 pandemic. The focus was mainly on traveling and gatherings, but masks in South Africa have also undergone a few minor changes. Essentially, not a great deal has changed since the state of disaster lapsed in April. We are still required to wear face masks or face coverings and the mouth and nose in a number of public settings. The most eye-catching alterations, however, are related to the regulations and administering of our mask laws. Here are the key points. Instead of being regulated by the state of disaster, masks laws are now covered by regulations relating to the surveillance of the control of notifiable medical conditions 2022. It's not an amendment to the National Act. This means that it is now non-emergency law to wear face masks in any indoor public setting or building. Travelers on public transport will be required to mask up for their journeys. One of the biggest changes to the legislation is that the health minister, currently Joe Pahla, now has the power to end these restrictions himself via the government gazette. He also reintroduced dropped measures. There is one notable exemption. Children are not required to wear a mask in a school setting. So that's quite interesting, given that, with the slackened regulations that had been put in place not too long ago, and now that this is being put in place, I guess, is to curb this slight increase in the numbers, which seems like that is something that had been happening of late. We have committed to the family to find these killers, and we have committed to Begicele's word that he must find them before we find them. If we find them before him, we will not give you any guarantees as to what's going to happen, said Julius Malema. These were the words and remarks by the EFF leader, Julius Malema, at the Gadi homestead, where a funeral is being held for Hillary, the slain daughter of former EFF Secretary General Godrich Gadi. The lifeless body of the university student was found abandoned in Mpumalanga on Tuesday. The assurances we have gotten from the intelligence that we deployed on the ground is that it is internal work and we are becoming closer to the situation. We want to teach them a lesson that they will never forget the rest of their lives because they took the wrong one this time around. Anyone who touches our children touches us. They don't want to see the ugly side of EFF, said Julius Malema. This in swift response to and a plea, I guess, or pressurizing the fact that Minister Begicele really needs to step up, or else something bad might happen at the hands of the public taking matters into their own hands. Is that a way to do it? I don't know, but enough is enough when it comes to these senseless kind of killings. And whether it was EFF or not EFF or politically connected, these kind of killings have no place in our modern day society where we are really trying to get ourselves back to where we need to be. Zondo made this comment after the arrest of advocate Malesela Tefo inside the High Court in Pretoria last Thursday, where he was representing 4 of the accused in the Senzo Meyi trial. Zondo said the SABC had asked for his comment on the arrest of Tefo on the day, and he had not seen the footage of the incident and did not at the stage have information about it. He did indicate that he was unable to comment on the matter, though. Commenting yesterday, however, Zondo said there was no justifiable reason the SAPS could have not waited for Advocate Tefo to leave the courtroom and court premises before they arrested him. After all, as I understand the position, the warrant had been issued 2 months ago, and waiting Tefo had left the court for the premises would not have made any difference. However, Zondo bemoaned the conduct of the police. He said the Constitution... he said that the Constitution, and I will just want to quote it properly where he's reading it. Zondo said, excuse me, I just lost my place. Anyway, he said the Constitution was places an obligation on an organ of state, including the police, through legislative and other measures to assist and protect the courts to ensure the independence, impartiality, dignity, accessibility, and effectiveness of the courts. Zondo said his statement was not about whether Tefo should have or not been arrested. It was about the place where the arrest was effected and the manner in which it was done. Zondo said he hoped the police would make sure that there was no similar incident in the future. 28 minutes now before 10 a.m. Shockwaves rippled through the nation as the eldest daughter of former EFF Secretary General Commissioner Godrich Gadi was declared missing and to now deceased. Politicians, activists, and outraged citizens have taken to various platforms to condemn and lament the killing of Hillary Gadi. Earlier this year, on the 18th of January, the 28-year-old took to Twitter to share her thoughts on her gender-based violence. When we say men want us dead, it's not a joke, Hillary Gardi said. Hillary was commenting on a post in which a woman had reached out for help after she'd fallen into the dark and downward spiral. The unknown woman was mourning her failed relationship and battle with deteriorating mental health. On Tuesday, the police announced a manhunt was underway to find Hillary's killer shortly after she was found deceased. Hillary took to social media on the same day she had disappeared, 29th of April, saying May is going to be a very long month. Hillary was reportedly last seen at the Super Spa in Bombela, Mpumalanga, grocery shopping with her adopted 3-year-old child. Searches and pleas to find her continued for days. However, her child was found unscathed. Commander-in-Chief of the EFF said they killed her, the daughter of our former SG Commissar Godrich Gadi. May her soul rest in peace and find permanent peace. We will find them. Very sad story and very dangerous outcomes when you consider what may happen if justice doesn't find its way to the suspect as soon as possible. Northwood High School will undertake a disciplinary action against the parents of one of their rugby players who caused a fracas at the end of the Under-16A match at Kearney College over the weekend. The parent concerned was convinced that the referee had cheated the Northwood team, and a video clip had gone viral of the man first trying to engage, then retreating referee, and then manhandling a Kearney player, which escalated the drama. While nobody was hurt, the incident was unsavory, and both schools have moved empathetically to voice their displeasure. Northwood headmaster Paul Fillion said in a letter to the parents, "We are an educational institution and need to be impeccable in terms of the standards and example we set for our boys. It is within this context that I want to assure you that the necessary disciplinary action will be taken with relevant consequences for the parents." Northwood has an obligation to protect those boys in our care as well as those who we compete against, in addition to being transparent and honest when any party associated with the school oversteps the boundaries of what is viewed as acceptable conduct of behavior. Fillion's counterpart at Kearney, Elwin van den Aardweg, said in his correspondence to parents that the Northwood parent concerned has been notified that he is banned from entering the Kearney campus for whatever purpose with immediate effect. And finally, but further afield in this beautiful but troubled continent of Africa, 10 Burundian peacekeepers were killed in Tuesday's shock by Al-Shabaab jihadists on an African Union base in Somalia. 25 soldiers were injured and 5 are missing, while 20 Al-Shabaab militants were killed. It is said that the statement made. It was the first attack on a peacekeeping base since the AU transition mission in Somalia replaced the previous. AU forces sent helicopter gunships after the pre-dawn attack on a camp housing Burundian soldiers near Sil Baraf, a village about 160 kilometers or 100 miles northeast of the capital of Mogadishu. The bloodshed highlights the security woes of the troubled Horn of Africa, which also embroiled in a deep political crisis over delayed elections and faces the threat of famine. Al-Shabaab fighters controlled Mogadishu until 2011 when they were driven out by the AU troops, but they still hold territory in the countryside and frequently attack civilian, military and government targets in Mogadishu and elsewhere.
Ladies and gentlemen, let's see what all the fuck is from the state.